Okay, we're actually trying to understand vertical asymptotes because nobody ever does. Because everybody thinks that you do math by punching numbers into a calculator. Okay, we want to understand vertical asymptotes. This is kind of important. Okay, so we're going to make a table for the graph for y equals 1 over x. It's going to give us an idea of what happens to this function on the interval from negative 0.1 to 0.1. Now, if you want to make a graph, we could start the graph. I wouldn't do much more than just start it by saying, okay, here's the y-axis, and here's the x-axis. And we're going to want just the interval from negative 0.1 to 0.1, right? So I'm going to put negative 0.1 here. I would not go negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2 like we do with basic functions with the basic values. We want to see what happens here if you go closer to 0 than the basic values. Now you kind of know what the graph looks like. You know, it's like this and like this. You know, I didn't gesture right. I got confused by my direction versus your direction. So it's not very well done. That should be a little further out, but you get the idea, right? And then what are you going to want? Well, you might as well go ahead and divide this in half. You get negative 0.05 here and negative 0.05 here. And then maybe you don't need any more than just getting your negative 0.01 and your 0.01. No point in subdividing the negative 0.05 because it doesn't appear in the graph, right? So we're kind of working in powers of 10 now. So I would set my x-axis like this. We don't know what numbers to use on the y-axis until we figure out what these values are, right? So what's the y value? It's 1 over 0.1. Now I'm not going to do 1 over 0.1. Like I said, I want you to do this with the fractions. Otherwise, you're just using superstition in most cases. Okay? Even though you maybe know how to divide these things. It's 1 over 1/10, which is 1 times 10 over 1, which is 10. Okay? And this is 1 over 100th, which is 100 over 1, which is 100. Of course, it's negative 1/10, so that's negative, and that's negative. This is negative, this is negative, and this is negative. Okay? Do we understand? Now we'll talk a little bit about why 1 over 1/10 ought to be 10. Okay? And 1 over 100th ought to be 100, because you have to understand that. And I'm not sure that our curriculum does anything near a decent job of building understanding. Okay, so I think we need to address it. If I'm wrong, so here's our table, and this is how we calculate it. And let's just draw the table up here without all the calculations now. Negative 0.1 gives us negative 10. Negative 0.01 gives us negative 100. 0.01 gives us 100, and 0.1 gives us 10. Okay? Now, what's the first number you want to locate on the y-axis?
Probably 100.
The biggest number, right? Or the small, the greatest and the least number, which would be 100 and negative 100. So there'd be two good answers to my question. You could have said negative 100 or you could have said 100, right? Okay? And for reasons that become apparent, I'm going to label negative 100 to the right of the axis. Okay? Now proceed Figure out where to locate 10 and negative 10, because you're going to need those y values, right? Or figure out how to scale your y-axis so that you can locate these points with relative accuracy.